Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much for simply chanting. It's really beautiful. Oh, it helped me also to focus and chant as well. So thank you so much.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayatmudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Apatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shlokir Bhaktir Bhavatir Naishtikir. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 6, Verse 5. Parena Vishrata Sasmin Matraya Vishwasriggana Chukshobhanyonyam Asadya Yasmin Lokas Characharaha. Parena Vishrata Swasmin Matraya Vishwasriggana Chukshobhanyonyam Asadya Yasmin Lokas Characharaha. Parena, by the Lord, Vishata, thus entering, Swasmin, by his own self, Matraya, by his plenary portion, Vishwasrig, the elements of universal creation, Kanaha, all, Chukshobha, transformed, Anyonyam, one another, Asadya, having obtained, Yasmin, in which, Lokaha, the planets, Characharaha, movable and immovable. As the Lord in his plenary portion entered into the elements of the universal creation, they transform into the gigantic form in which all the planetary systems and all the movable and immovable creations rest. I'll read it again. As the Lord in his plenary portion entered into the elements of the universal creation, they transformed into the gigantic form in which all the planetary systems and all movable and immovable creations rest. The elements of cosmic creation are all matter that have no potency to increase in volume unless entered into it by the Lord in his plenary portion. This means that matter does not increase or decrease unless it is spiritually touched. Matter is a product of spirit and it increases only by the touch of spirit. The entire cosmic manifestation has not assumed its gigantic form by itself, as wrongly calculated by less intelligent persons. As long as spirit is within matter, matter can increase as needed, but without the spirit, matter stops increasing. For example, as long as there is spiritual consciousness within the material body of the living entity, the body increases to the required size. But a dead material body, which has no spiritual consciousness, stops increasing. In Bhagavad Gita chapter 2, importance is given to the spiritual consciousness, not the body. The entire cosmic body increased by the same process that we experience in our small bodies. One should not, however, foolishly think that the individual infinitesimal soul is the cause of the gigantic manifestation of this universal form. The universal form is called as Virat Rupa because the Supreme Lord is within it in his plenary portion. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapatantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Gurum Sagrajat Shri Gurum Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhamritamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kantha Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Good morning to all of you. So today I would like to thank all of you for joining me in trying to study the creation of the universal form, as is mentioned in chapter 6, the third canto. And I would like to specifically thank Devkinandan whose beautiful class I listened to yesterday in order to prepare for this class. These technical verses, they are very important, but I still struggle with them. So Devkinandan beautiful class really helped me understand, and I attempt to show some of that understanding in today's class. Thank you so much for joining. So today, in today's verse, and in these first few verses of chapter 6, we are seeing the creation of the universal form. So here in the first verse, we see that there's a suspension of activities, that things have totally stopped because the Lord is not present. And so, what happens next? In text 2, Krishna and his energy, Mother Kali, they together simultaneously enter into the 23 elements, and this sets it into motion. And then simply by the entering of the Lord and his energies, all the living entities are awakening from their slumber and beginning their activities again. And by this process, the Vishwarupa comes into existence. So when the 23 principles were set into action by the will of the Supreme, the Vishwarupa came into existence. And when this happened, this transformed into a gigantic form known as the Vishwarupa. And in this Vishwarupa, it is the place where all non-moving and movable creatures, so chara, charaha, everything rests within it. So Srila Prabhupada beautifully mentions in the purport that the elements of the cosmic creation are all matter, and they have no potency to increase in volume unless entered into by the Lord in his plenary portion. So just like we understand in chapter 2 that the spirit, without the spirit soul, there is no life for the material. There is no life experienced by the matter that it once possessed. So, for example, when we see, to give a very crude example, when we see someone is dead, someone will say, "Oh, this person is gone." But where has that person gone? The body is still there. Everything is still there. All the organs are still there. The heart is there. The lungs are there. The skin is there. But we still say, this person is gone. He's gone. She's gone. They've left us. But who is this person who has left us? Who is this person who is gone? When the body is still there, the mind is still there. Who is still gone? We understand that it is the soul, that person who was actually there, who gave life to that material body, has moved on, has left us, has left our association. So we can understand it that way. Similarly, Srila Prabhupada explains in this purport by making the connection to chapter 2, that without the spirit, matter is a product of spirit and increases only by the touch of spirit. only when there is spirit present in the matter does it begin to increase to its size. So we can understand the universal body as such. And Tekun Prabhuji gave a really beautiful example by His Grace Purijan Prabhu, I believe. And I wanted to mention it again because it really helped me solidify my understanding of what exactly the Vishwarupa is. He gave the analogy, just like we have a gross body and we have a subtle body. So we have our body with our skin and bones, and we also have our mind, intelligence, false ego, our subtle body. We have these two things, and they rest on top of the soul, the spirit soul. And so similarly, Krishna's gross body, that might sound a little weird, but Krishna's gross body is the material universe. And his subtle body is this beautiful Virat Rupa that you see that he has shown to Arjuna so beautifully in this picture. You can see everything is described in the chapter 11, all the magnanimities of this beautiful form. And this Virat Rupa is the subtle body of the Lord. So how do we understand this? That Krishna has a gross body, subtle body, and then himself, Krishna. So I wanted to bring up a verse from Brahma Samhita that explains that they are all equal. They're all plenary portions that are equal. And this is also mentioned in the last verse. Deeparchir eva hi dashantaram abhyupetya deepayate vivrita hetu samana dharma yastadrigeva hi cha vishnutaya vibhati govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. The light of one candle being communicated to other candles. So deepar chir eva hi dashantaram abhyupetya. So when a light of a candle, we put it on another candle, another candle, another candle. Although it burns separately in them, it is same in its quality. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, who exhibits himself equally in the same mobile manner in his various manifestations. So here Lord Brahma gives the beautiful analogy of a candle that is being lit on different sticks. The quality of the fire is same in each of those million sticks, but they do burn separately. So similarly, this Virat Rupa form, and Srila Prabhupada even goes further to say in the last verse, the Archa Vigraha form of the Lord, they are all the same in quality. So we can understand that although our gross body, our subtle body, they are not the same as the soul. They actually rest on the soul. There is no difference between Krishna's gross body, Krishna's subtle body. So that was an analogy that really helped me understand. And I hope it helps as well. So the last, one of the few things I wanted to talk about was this beautiful ending part of the translation. All the planetary systems, all movable and immovable creations rest on top of Krishna, in this universal form. We all rest on top of Krishna. I thought that was so beautiful because there's a very, very beautiful verse in the Bhagavad Gita that illustrates this beautifully. Mataha parataram nanyat kinchit asti dhananjaya mai sarvam idam protam sutre mani gana iva. Very popular, as it should be, verse from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse 7. And Krishna mentions, O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. So Dhananjaya, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on thread. So Srila Prabhupada, it's very beautifully, in his beautiful, very beautiful language, he explains that everything rests upon Krishna, just as pearls are strung on a thread. And pearls, if you see them, when they are like away from each other, they have some beauty to them when they are hither thither. But their real beauty, when they truly shine, is when they rest upon Krishna. So similarly in this verse, all the planetary systems, all movable and immovable creations, such as us, we all rest upon Krishna. And so I thought this was actually, although it's a technical verse, it has some very beautiful philosophy to it, that we all are resting upon Krishna. So we are all fully dependent on Krishna, just like pearls are strung on a thread. So that is really beautiful, because when we understand that we are all resting on Krishna, then what is the need to worry? What is the need to worry about working too hard, or doing so much, or trying to be in control of your life? Because Krishna, he is in control, and we all are very literally resting on top of Krishna in his universal form. So I really appreciated how Srila Prabhupada used those certain words to describe how we are fully dependent on Krishna. And by studying the creation of the universal form, we realize that we totally are dependent on Krishna. So even though I wanted to make a little extension, even though they are not eternal, the Archa Vigraha form, the Vishvarupa form, even though they are not eternal, the devotees, they worship them as such. And when Digni Prabhuji was speaking about this, I was reminded about the Nava Kalebara pastime of Lord Jagannath in Puri. When after many years, when there is a big festival called Nava Kalebara, where the deity of Jagannath Puri is changed, and it's done in a very secretive manner. In the entire district of Puri, from what I've heard, there's an entire power outage. I'm not sure if it's done consciously, but there's an entire power outage, and there's a very secretive ritual that is done to change the deity of the Lord Jagannath, and it reminded me of thus that this deity of Lord Jagannath, he's worshipped as Krishna himself, with the same awe and reverence. So some people maybe outside might find it a little weird that we worship an Archa Vigraha form, but we understand that when there is specific rituals, when Krishna has ordained a specific form that he will come as, he does come in that form. So I wanted to make this extension. Amritanandan Prabhuji, when we were younger, he would always say, if Krishna is in everything, he would actually tell us, as like trying to push us in, like, why not? If Krishna is in everything, why don't we say Jai air conditioner namaha, Jai lamp namaha, Jai wall namaha? Why do we say Jai Shri Radha Krishna? Why do we worship the deities? Why not worship everything else? Trying to push us to figure out why impersonalism doesn't work. And so we understand that when Krishna ordains a specific form that he will come as, such as this Vishvarupa, such as the beautiful form of Lord Jagannath, such as the beautiful form of Lord Krishna and Gora Hari, when he ordains that he comes in this form, that he does come in such a form, but it's not that he comes in everything. Like that's why we do not say, we do not consider everything to be God. We only consider Krishna to be God, and his beautiful plenary portions to be equal as such. So those are some of the thoughts I have for today's class. If we can maybe discuss, and I would like to hear your reflections and thoughts on today's topic. I would be very much appreciate any comments that I've missed. We have 10 minutes, so I encourage all the devotees to speak, and I would love to hear from everyone. Hare Krishna.